Thanks for tuning in to Real Talk and Whatnot. This episode is brought to you by Marcus Rodriguez. If you're looking to buy or sell your home in this competitive market and you're not too sure where to start, look no further than Merced's preferred realtor, Marcus Rodriguez. He'll make sure this process goes as smooth as possible, and you can find him at 209-554-1715 or visit his website, www.myrealtormarcus.com. His email is info@myagentmarcus.com, and he'd appreciate a call. Thanks again, Marcus. This podcast is also brought to you by Alien, a new fitness wear company on a mission to support mental health. There are over 7 billion people on Earth, many that struggle with anxiety, depression, suicidal thoughts, or just feeling like you have no one that cares. If you feel this way, just know you are not alone. Alien features high-quality men and women's activewear designed to help you reach your goals both in and out of the gym. A percentage of all proceeds are donated to the suicide awareness and prevention. Shop now at alien.org. That's AYLEAN.org. This podcast is also brought to you by me. What up, you guys? It's Micah, Diele, your host of Real Talk and Whatnot, and I'm a local filmmaker and photographer here in Merced. So whether you need a commercial to elevate your brand or business to that next level, a wedding film, real estate videos and pictures, music videos, or headshots, I'm your dude. So let's make something work. Let's get something rolling. My number is 209-769-4596. My website is micahdiele.com. That's MICAHDIELE.com. And my email is micahdiele@gmail.com. Let's get something started for your brand or business today. Thanks for tuning in to Real Talk and Whatnot. I'm your host, Micah Diele, and if you're new to this podcast, this is a show where I highlight the talented individuals who live within the Central Valley of California, as well as people in general who are passionate about what they do. Once again, you guys, I'm going to remind you about reviews and downloads. Duffy, what do we do around here? Do we download every episode?
We download every episode.
Exactly. We download every episode, you guys. So make sure that you guys are downloading every single episode. It really helps out the show, helps out the algorithm, lets more people see the show. And then if you want to, go ahead, leave a review on Apple Podcasts. Go over there, tell me why you like the show, why you don't like it. I don't really care, but just leave a review. It really helps it out, you guys. Alrighty, now let's just jump into today's episode. Today I am joined by a guy that I recently met named Dallas Hoofard. Now Dallas, he has a clothing brand, and he calls it Mulberry Dreams, and he also has a podcast. And they're both together on his page. I believe it's just Mulberry Dreams, or I'll add it right there anyways. But on this episode, we just laugh, honestly. We laugh a lot. We have a great conversation, and, it's very rare that I get to meet another person who has a podcast. So it was very interesting for both of us to talk about, how he does things, how I do things. And so we do talk about that for, 5-10 minutes on the podcast. So bear with us when we're geeking out about podcast settings and everything else like that. But we also just have a great time. We laugh a lot. We talk about I don't know. Let me see here. I even wrote notes for this intro. So he kind of talks about how he found Mulberry Dreams, and how that really was. And so it came to him in a dream, and he explains it in detail on the podcast. Then he explains that he was trying to drive more people to his page, more people to the clothing brand, and he thought a good way to do that was the podcast. So that's when he started his podcast, Mulberry Dreams. And we both, really related to each other about coming to a point of your life and trying to figure out what you're passionate about. Because I think there's always that point in everybody's lives where it goes, you're trying to figure out where it is or what your passion is, and you don't really know what it is, especially after college or after, you've been playing sports all your life. You're just trying to fill that void. And we just had a great conversation about how each of us found our passion in life. And we also talked about why we started our podcast and just the appreciation we have for the craft. I'm going to keep that in there, you guys. Anyway, so without further ado, you guys, please welcome Dallas Hoofard.
This is it. Real talk. Whatnot.
Real talk. That's it. Real talk. Real talk. Real talk.
I like that. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah. So why don't you introduce yourself for people who may not know who you are?
I'm Dallas Hoofard, born and raised in Atwater, California, and I do a podcast, and I have a clothing brand. It's called Mulberry Dreams.
Yeah. So what came to how'd you come to the name Mulberry Dreams?
So I actually came up with it in a dream I had, honestly.
Well, what do you know, huh?
Yeah. So it was kind of like a personal dream. I was kind of going through a hard time at the time. This was 2019, January. And in my dream, I was sitting in a house, it was like burnt down, but the couch was like good. Like, so I was just sitting there and the house was like open and it was super hot. Like, you know, like a July weather here, you know? And like someone grabbed me on the side and like I looked over and they're like, it's going to be all right. Like everything's going to work out or whatever. And then I kind of just woke up and I realized like that was me telling me that.
Oh,
so then the Mulberry part, like I was on, like I just remember seeing like Mulberry Ave, you know, because that's a street.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You
so
know,
before the podcast started, I had asked him if he lived like, because I used to live in McSwain area, and there's Mulberry Avenue over there.
Yeah.
So that's why I was asking you about that.
yeah. And then there's also a Mulberry Avenue in town as well.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know. It just like was there.
Subconsciously somehow got into your dream almost?
Yeah, and like I've known people who lived there, like
Mhm.
so it might have been that. And I kind of just I tweeted it once and I just pinned it and I left it there. And then
Mulberry Dreams?
Yeah,
Mhm.
Mulberry Dreams. And then I don't know, a few months later when I decided like I want to start a brand, I was like, I like that name.
Yeah, yeah.
Because my cousin and I, when we were in high school, dude, like I've always wanted to make a brand. Because like
Yeah.
we would see like, you know, like LRG, like
Yeah, yeah,
and
dude.
like and like some of the designs, like we'd be sitting there at lunch,
Like
like
a little
bro,
whack,
we
huh?
do
Yeah.
that, dude. What the hell? But like we never could come up with a name for whatever reason. That was like the hardest thing, and I wanted it to like mean something, you know.
Have a little, yeah.
So it kind of just came naturally, like years later. So I mean, I was
So,
always an athlete, so like I
How
never.
long from your dream to the clothing brand?
Oh, dude, January, probably like 4 months.
Okay, yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah.
And what year was this?
2019.
2019 was
Yeah.
this when you started that?
Yeah.
And so then trial and error through like kind of for clothing, I'm saying, like, or how have you like gotten your stuff? You know what I mean? Just because
Yeah.
like I want to get Real Talk merch, obviously, and like there's a couple sites that I've been looking at. I've kind of put my designs in because I want it embroidered. I don't want it like
Right.
to just stake down it.
The best thing to do, I mean, you got to find, if you can get like a more of a personal connection with somebody, because clothing is expensive. And then, you know, finding like what, you know, style tee or whatever you want, like, you know, like fabric wise
Yeah.
and stuff. Like I did a lot of research into that and like ordered a bunch of different blanks and stuff. And then I found this dude in Fresno and he would print all my stuff for me.
Oh, that's
He has his
dope.
own company and stuff.
Yeah,
I'll give it to you, you know.
Yeah,
after
yeah,
the
that'd be
pod
cool.
and
That'd be
stuff.
cool because
Yeah.
I've been looking like over and over just because
Yeah.
there's so many ways you can do it, whether
Yeah.
online or like you're saying, like people around here and stuff. And I know you even know people who like screen print their own T-shirts and stuff.
Yeah, and it depends on what you want to do. I mean, you could buy in bulk or you could buy like
Yeah,
made to order.
That's the thing,
you
though.
know?
The buy to bulk or buying bulk is just like it's just such a big sum of money. It's like okay, I want to buy $500 or $1,000 worth of stuff, and like yeah, you could potentially make double your money, but you're also sitting on that.
You're
for,
sitting on it, and it's an investment in yourself.
Yeah.
and it does get stressful when you have like a box full of clothes, and you're like, "What am I gonna do with this?" But so that was actually my thing. Is like, man, I need to find a way to get more people to come to my page. Like, what do I need to do? And I go, I wanted to start a podcast. So my first podcast I did was January or February of 2020. So it was like a year later.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, so
So-
that's almost right when I started my podcast. So,
Yeah.
no, 2021 is when I
Yeah,
started
yeah.
mine. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, you've been a lot more consistent than I have.
Yeah, well,
So
I assumed
it's-
I assumed that we had started at the same time because we're almost like, what episode are you on?
So I'm on, I think, 40. I think my next one will be 46.
Yeah, so I'm like 30 something. But I just assumed I was like, oh, we must
Yeah,
have started
yeah.
somewhere along the line.
Yeah, I was on a roll for the first 6 months, like every week, you know, and then just things happen, man, you know.
Dude, life gets you. Every now and then I have to not put out a podcast for a week just because I'm like, okay, I got real life stuff I got to do. I
Dude,
can't be.
And a week comes quick, dude.
Yeah.
It's like it's already Tuesday.
Dude, you're telling me and my sound guy Duffy, we freaking it'll be like I'll get him the podcast on like a Tuesday. Like I need this by Thursday so I can edit everything and put it out Friday.
Yeah.
And then we've had days where I just text him like, don't worry about it. We're not posting something
Yeah.
this week. Like
Yeah.
it's like it's like we're extreme hobbyists, honestly. When podcasting, I feel like I love podcasting. It's just like it's really time consuming, way more than I had ever thought it would be.
Yeah.
Like especially post production wise, like we were talking, like this is the
This
fun
is the fun
part.
part. We're
right
chilling.
here. Yeah. Hey man,
Yeah.
cheers. Thank you for
Cheers,
being here.
man. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so this is the fun part. It's just the editing and the making highlight videos and everything else. That's like, okay, that's taking 6, 7, 8 hours of your day.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, you know, I was working full time and I was going to school full time at the same time. So that definitely played a role in like, am I going to have even time to even do a podcast and put it out? So it just varies, you know?
Yeah. No, I feel it. And then I ended up taking a break. So like I had like, in June. Like I had like posted like 2 weeks in June, and then I was like, I need a break. I'm like, I'm gonna catch up. I'm gonna get, like 10, 15 episodes in the bag, and then I'm gonna start again in the fall. And then they came around, and I only had the 2 episodes that I had, and I just took like a month and a half off. And I really regret that, just because I had momentum, and I felt like it just fell off, and then I have to regain my momentum again.
Yeah.
And it's like, have you kind of had to deal with that a little bit with just through different podcasts?
When I first started, dude, I had like maybe 150, 200 subscribers, but I was pulling in like 500 views, or like close to 400 or 500 views an episode, like my first maybe 10, 15, and then I just abruptly stopped. And, because like COVID hit, and then that summer came, and I had 1 class left to get my degree, and it was a summer class, which like it's only a month, but it's like you have to do shit every day, So like I was like,
it's your semester in a month, though.
yeah, so I'm just gonna focus on that, and I just stopped everything because I really wanted my damn degree.
Yeah, I didn't get this. Yeah, I'm the same way in the sense of like, what was your degree in?
I got a degree in sociology.
Okay,
bachelor's degree.
nice.
So-
I have a degree in educational studies, so
Okay,
whatever.
cool, man. Whatever that means.
yeah, exactly.
It's like, do you have a degree? Yes. Okay.
Yeah, it's an
this point.
education. No, I know you have a degree, but what's it? What do you do? No, it's an education. That's what I'm telling you.
Yeah, I paid to play. Here I am. I got my
I'm a
paper.
professional substitute teacher.
There you go. Yeah. So, man, and that's with everything though. Like even working out, you can get going, and then just when you stop, it's just so hard to get back
Bro,
to
you're
it.
telling me. Once we were redoing the studio, I ended up like I used to work out like pretty regular, and then we were redoing the studio. I like stopped working out. I still haven't even gotten back to the swing of things, just because I'm like I feel like there's not enough time in the day for me to do things.
I know. That's exactly how I feel. But do you, man? I don't know why. Like I get nervous before all my podcasts.
I do and I don't. Like sometimes I do. Like this, I was nervous when I was sitting there waiting for you, and then you're like meeting somebody, and like you're the one of the people that's like I don't know at all, like
Right.
going into this
Yeah.
podcast. And so I've had a few others that are like that, like the Weed Nuns. I didn't know them at all.
That was
But,
sick, yeah.
dude.
That's
they're
a random pod. I was like, that's hard, dude.
yeah, dude, and they've been inviting me out to like their moon ceremonies. There's actually one today, but I have to film something. They've been like I've been out to their house like 2 or 3 times, and like, dude, the last time I was there was a band playing with like a whole light rig and everything, and it was sick, and they were just like me and like my friends there,
That's
and then just
dope.
hanging out with them, and they're doing like these moon rituals and stuff. It's whatever. Some people get all weird about it. I'm like, hey, religions are pretty weird
Yeah,
too,
man.
you guys. So
Yeah.
at the same time.
Just do whatever you want to do, bro. That's how I think.
No,
man,
exactly.
you know?
Yeah, my whole thing is like, I think basically in 2019, I kind of got to the point in my life. I graduated college in 2019, and I was like, okay, now what? Like, you know what I mean? Probably like most people get. Like, it just kind of, you're not too sure of like what, you feel like you should know what you want to do, but you don't know what you want to do. And so I was at that weird point, and I kind of went on a road trip with my fiance now, and we went on a road trip. We went around, kind of made this like little video, and then that fall there was like this dream job competition by this brand, and they're like, make a video about your dream job. So I hit up my buddy Jimmy, who I have the studio with, and we made this video. And ever since then, I've just immersed myself in photography, videography, because it was something that I always liked, but it was just like I felt like I can't be going to school and doing this, or I
Right.
can't be. You just feel like you shouldn't be doing like all these things at once. Fast forward, I'm just freaking doing a million things at a time right now. But
Time's just going.
yeah, exactly.
That's good that you found time to, find time to do things you want to do and that you like and that you enjoy, even if it doesn't really make you money like that,
Yeah, and that's the thing that it's like for a long time it was negative. I was spending money on gear, I was spending money on camera equipment, podcast stuff, and like seeing no return. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So you just kind of feel like, thankfully, like the pandemic happened, not for like obviously for some people, but like I grew in the pandemic a lot, and I'm just glad that I kind of had that year to figure things out for myself, because without that year, I don't think I'd be where I am today.
Yeah, it helped me too. A lot of people, unfortunately, like you said, but for me personally, I was hustling that year.
Yeah,
Big time.
exactly. And like it's cool because me and Jimmy, we wanted to, so we tried to do this dream job thing, and then we're like, oh, we're just gonna try to do stuff on YouTube, and then kind of realized how like hard that really is, you know what I mean? And then we just started like, okay, how do we make this profitable business? And like here we are 2 years later, and we're like having consistent clients and consistency with like working for brands and people, and now it's finally looking back like, oh, okay, like it all paid off. But there were so many times during it that you're like, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I wanted to ask, what was your purpose of starting the podcast?
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a good question. So when I first started, it's just, I've always had the idea to start a podcast, kind of like you know what I mean? It's like, you always thought it'd be cool, thought it'd be a fun thing. I listen to, a lot of podcasts, so I just enjoy them. And I was like, I think that, I could have like a good, interesting podcast. And so when I was first doing it, before I even had a name, I was having, I had like, during the first episode with Jimmy, it was going to be called Trail Talks because I liked hiking and stuff like that. But it was going to be like all about hiking and stuff. And I'm glad it's not, because let me tell you, I've had one podcast about hiking and it was the last one.
Yeah, but it's a real narrow subject.
Yeah, exactly. It like really limits yourself, puts yourself on the box. So the first episode, Jimmy came up with the name Real Talk and Whatnot, because it was Trail Talks and Whatnot. And he was like, what about Real Talk and Whatnot? And I was like, oh shit, I like that. And so from there, like your beginning of your podcast, I had just a couple friends on. And I was trying to figure out, like, what is this podcast? What am I doing with it? And then after I recorded, I think 5 or 6 episodes, because I recorded those before I released anything, because I wanted to kind of have some stuff like, here's 5 episodes out, you know what I mean? And so then I kind of sat down and I literally like started writing down like, what is my podcast? And so what I ended up doing, it's highlights the talented individuals within the Central Valley of California. And then I always add, as well as people in general who are passionate about what they do, because I don't want this to be only solely Central Valley. I want it to be an outlet for Central Valley people, but I don't want it to be, this is only a Central Valley podcast. Because I actually had this dude that I look up to, and he has a podcast called The Photographer's Mindset, and I reached out to him, and we ended up doing a Zoom call. He's from Canada, and so he's one of my episodes. But it was just basically shed light on the Central Valley, and that's like my whole purpose, is just like I think that we're so underrepresented, and there's so many people that talk shit about the area or growing up, you know what I mean? Everyone like Murdered, blah, blah. Like, I don't know, just the typical stuff. And for a while there, I felt like everybody when you're growing up, you kind of fall into it. You're like, yeah, there is nothing to do here. Like, I want to leave. And then I ended up moving out to Turlock for a little bit, and I worked in Turlock, Modesto, and I kept on always getting drawn back to Merced. And it's just one of those things where I think for a long time I thought I wanted to leave the town, but I ended up just like, I love the Central Valley. I love the town. I love that we're 2 hours away from everything. I love that the community in general. I love the revamping of downtown. And that's not just Merced, that's the whole Central Valley. And that's when I've started like diving into like meeting rappers and the rap community and just people who work at the city council and just other things like that. And they all have cool stories. They all have stories to tell. And that's kind of why I decided to jump into this.
Dude, that's pretty, I'd say that's pretty accurate of like what I started doing.
Mm-hmm.
Just my big thing was community as
Yeah.
well. And what was crazy to me is we come from a small community. I mean, Atwater's even smaller than Merced.
Mm-hmm.
And then just listening to like my friends and like their perspectives on things and how they grew up and how different it was from me. But like where we live, we all went to the same school, did the same stuff, but just their point of view and all that. That's what I appreciate the most about having people on and just giving them their own voice.
Yeah.
Because like you said, there's a lot of hate in this area. It's hard to kind of grow, I feel like, because of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to bring like an outlet for people just to come on and talk, and have their own voice heard.
Exactly. And that's the thing too. Like some people are like, oh, do you want to be like the outlet for the Central Valley? It's like, no, I don't want me to be it. Like I want me to be a part of it. Yes. But like, that's like why I'm having you on and stuff like that. It's just like, I want there to be as many outlets as they can. I want us to be a media place, because right now we're not a media place. You know what I mean? There's nothing. And that's why I want to try to help start it at least. And so, I mean, I'm just doing what I can, I mean, you're doing what you can. We're all in different stages and different figuring things out. And like, people can watch this podcast and be like, man, this guy's got it figured out. It's like, hey, fake it till you make it, man.
For sure. That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
That's good though. Because I know like like maybe someone would be like, if they saw someone else doing a podcast, they're like, what the hell? Like all like, then but for me, it inspires me.
Yeah,
like it lit a because like for a while I wasn't doing anything, and I started seeing your podcast come out more and more, and I'm like, dude, it lit a fire under my ass. Like I need to get on it.
Yeah.
It like inspired me to keep going versus like just like being fucking mad about it and like wanting to reach out and like learn.
No, exactly. That's the thing too. It's like I am an open book when it comes to like anything creative. Like I'll teach you everything I know. I don't want like there's some people out there who are, I'm doing my thing. I don't want you to like, it's cool that we do the same thing, but I don't want you to like step on my territory, step on my toes. And it's like, I could care less about that. In my mind, it's just, we can just have you're doing something, I'm doing something. Obviously, it's not the same exact podcast. So it's not going to be the same format. It's not going to be everything. Like, I'm all for, that's what, when Dallas sat down today, we instantly were just like, start talking about podcast stuff, like equipment you use, how do you edit, how do you do all this stuff? Just because for me and you, like, you don't come across too many people who podcast.
And there's an appreciation for it. Because you understand the grind that goes on behind the scenes that, like, no one else really sees.
Yeah, exactly.
So when I come in, I want to look at, like, how you got it set up. Because there's tons of different ways to do it.
No, there is. And that's, like, I don't know how other people do it. That's why I was asking you. I'm like, do you record your audio separately? And you're like, yeah. And I'm like, okay. Like, that's my part that I hate the most, but that's good to know that you're doing the same thing I am.
Actually, when you line it up, does it track over time? Or when you line it up, is it good the whole way through? Like,
no, it doesn't.
Okay. When I started, I used an iPhone, and it would track. So I had to like customize the audio, then pull it even farther. I know people are probably like, what the hell are you talking about?
I know what you're talking about, yeah.
Yeah, that was annoying.
Screw 'em. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
We're talking.
This is our podcast about podcasts.
Yeah. But that was annoying to do because it just took a lot longer. And I feel like sometimes
the words would get off a little bit, right? When you're lining them up. Yeah. So that was me forever. And then my buddy Jimmy just showed me this tool, and it's like on Adobe Premiere, all it does is it stretches out the audio.
Yeah.
Like, because it's basically like, let's say the audio ends 2 seconds earlier, and then the other one ends. I can like stretch it to just go to that one now.
Yeah.
And because I'm only stretching it like half a second, it's not changing the vocals anymore.
Right.
But if I were to just obviously do it 10 seconds, it'd be like, what?
Yeah, it starts slowing down.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's all shit like trial and error that I had to figure out.
That shit's annoying though. I agree.
I had like zero skill in that, just learning, So.
Do you have the nice microphones though? Do you have Joe Rogan's microphones?
Yeah, dude. Well, because I was working like crazy. I was working like 70 hours a week at one point for like just
What'd you do?
I worked at a printing company out here by the airport.
Oh, yeah. Or what used to be Color Press or Quebecor?
Well, it wasn't Color. It was called Label Technology.
Oh, okay.
We got bought out by a bigger company, but it was the same shit.
Yeah.
But dude, we were working like crazy. So that actually funded, like, I paid my way through school. I don't have any loans. I paid for all my equipment. And then that's when I started upgrading. I just would... Yeah, because those fuckers are like $400 each.
Yeah, that's why I was watching it. I was like, oh, man. It's like, that's an investment.
But the audio is crazy.
Yeah, just natural
like,
from
just
it.
crazy. Like, you could turn your head, all that. It's solid.
Yeah.
So.
And they just look so cool. You know what I mean? Like, it's like a cool looking...
One of their selling points is like, Michael Jackson recorded Thriller on this. That's like one of the. Oh wow, let me get it then. Or like the Goo Goo Dolls made a fucking album with it. Bro, is it good or not? Like,
yeah. Like, does that affect me on buying it?
Like, I'm not gonna be crooning on my mic. Like, I just need to talk. But yeah, I just, like you said, I listen to a lot of podcasts too.
What podcasts do you listen to?
Dude, honestly, ever since Joe Rogan went on Spotify, I kind of don't listen as much no more. Like when he was on YouTube, like it's just some more easy, and I feel like because of the comments and stuff,
yeah, it's a little more.
It seemed more of a community.
Yeah.
And I know, like, now everyone kind of hated that, but
yeah.
I haven't listened to much lately. But like, even a lot of like comedy, like Bill Burr,
just freaking ranting.
I love it though because it reminds me of my dad, bro. Like they're the same age and they're just pissed off all the time.
about the world.
Yeah, but he makes it funny. So
yeah. Theo's hella
Vaughn.
funny, dude.
I don't know how he comes up with just the randomest shit.
He's the weirdest fucking guy,
Yeah.
I think, honestly. Like,
but I thoroughly just enjoy listening to him.
I do too. And sometimes he gets pretty sad on his podcast. He'll like talk about like his addiction and stuff like that. But he does it and like not. It'll just be like funny. Yeah, I've been really trying to get better. I've been like, and he just goes.
I've been coked out half the week. It's like,
I was
yo,
like,
relax.
Yeah, exactly. You listen to Two Bears, One Cave at all?
No, what's that?
Tom Segura, you know who that is?
Yes.
And Bert Kreischer.
Okay, no, okay, I haven't got into that. Dude, they just keep like these two make one, these two have one.
Yeah.
Like,
what's
Bad
it?
Friends.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So they had a Switch episode one time where the host of Bobby Lee and Andrew
Santino.
Yeah. So they were the hosts of Two Bears, One Cave, and then Bert and Tom were the host of Bad Friends.
Okay.
It was pretty funny just because like I was like I didn't know Bad Friends existed until that point.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, what the hell? But
I was like a day one for them for a while. That was like the first, like I saw their first episode. And
I like Andrew Santino's just whiskey ginger.
Whiskey ginger.
Yeah, like his conversation. He's really good just having conversations with people.
And then Bobby Lee's Tiger Belly, that shit gets a little weird sometimes.
Yeah, that's a real
Bobby
weird.
Lee's a character, man.
Even
I don't know
Bad
if
Friends is weird.
Yeah, I don't know if half the shit he's said he's been through is real or not, but if it is, like, Jesus, man.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure some of it is. Like, everyone talks about how he got molested, right? But like, they joke about it all the time, so that's why you're like, as a listener, you're like, I think it's funny. Like, it's okay to laugh at this.
Know.
Like,
yeah. But man, all those, and I realized like that too is like, man, they're all just like teaming up, making all these podcasts, getting all this money.
Dude, oh my God. I'm
just going to start a podcast. I don't even care if I don't make anything.
Like,
yeah,
exactly. Dude, and then I looked at their, like how many views they'll get per episode on YouTube. And it's like, I don't know, 500,000 views. You know what I mean?
Then they have a clips page.
Dude, and that's how I'm like, yeah, it's like I wanted to do.
I don't have time for all this.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted it. Like, everyone's like, you got to do clips. I'm like, you're right. Like, I should do it, you guys, but that's even more time consuming than like it already is. And like,
my last two, I did clips with. I made clips. And I just posted them.
Yeah,
just on the same page. So they get like a little bit of views, but it does help like break it down a little bit.
Yeah, just it's sometimes people don't want to take time and invest like an hour, and I get it. Like, I completely get that. There's times I just skip through stuff. You know what I mean? But other times I don't even listen to my own podcast. But no, just kidding.
You're real critical probably when you listen back.
Oh yeah, I gotta stop saying like so much. I say like every other fucking word, man. It pisses me off.
Yeah. There's podcasts where I'll edit and I'll be like, this shit is trash. I'm gonna put it out anyway. Like, I spent all this time on it. I don't care. I'll put it out and they'll be like one of the most viewed ones. And I'm like, all right.
I'll be like super.
Trust the process.
I'll be super hyped about a podcast. Like, oh, this podcast is gonna do really well.
Pop off.
Yeah, it's gonna. No one cares about it. And then I'll post like one that with like one of my friends that I think's like, okay, like this shouldn't maybe pop off because it's just me and my friend having a conversation. And people are like, oh man, that podcast was really good. And I was like, it was good. Like, I agree it was good, but it's not like the Weed Nuns. I thought that was going to be big. You know what I mean? I thought
that's so like different.
Yeah, exactly. I thought it was going to like blow up. And it was just like, that was the first podcast back after my like 2 or month and a half break. And it was just kind of like I had lost the momentum. And so it was just like starting slow basically again, over and over again.
People are a creature of habit. So when you do it weekly, it'll come to their mind like, oh, he's dropping a podcast today. But then when you don't, it's like we're long and forgotten about already.
Yeah. Well, especially the way social media and our society is right now, it's just clickbait.
Well, and you're fighting for people's attention. Yeah, essentially. Because like I said, we just went off like 10 different podcasts right now. Those are just off the top of our head.
Yeah, and that's like
those are all hours long.
Yeah.
So that right there is 6 hours. Like, who's gonna, So we are fighting.
And then there's just two local dudes like, who the fuck cares about us? I'm gonna tell you why you should listen to us.
Talking about podcasts and how we stretch out the audio.
No one wants to hear your fucking stupid behind the scenes podcast stuff, you guys.
For real.
This podcast is for us.
Most definitely, man. This is the first podcast I've ever been on.
I was going to ask you that.
Surprising. But it's no different. It's the same, but I don't have to deal with this shit. You're going to have to deal with it.
Exactly.
I got to go home.
Yeah, you got to go home and don't have to deal with any of the editing and stuff
I'm chilling.
Yeah. But, so wait, you're moving, huh?
Yeah, dude, I'm moving to Knoxville, Tennessee. Actually, I just got back. Moved out there with my girlfriend. We left last Tuesday.
Uh-huh.
U-Haul hauled my car.
Oh, you
behind
drove
it.
out there and flew back? Or you drive back?
Flew back.
Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
Yeah. I think it's like a 35-hour, 34. What's the difference? 30-some hour fucking drive, like nonstop. So that was a mission, man. The reason I'm moving to Knoxville, about 3 years ago, my uncle and my grandparents, they moved out there. They're all from here.
Okay.
So they got out of here. They're like, oh, yeah, you should come out here. And I love it here. I'm always a California kid, right? So, like, they're trying to tell me, oh, it's cheap. It's super cheap, way cheaper out there.
Super cheap.
To be honest.
Whoa, yeah.
You know?
Dude, California's fucking...
just ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah.
But, I went out and visited in June, and I loved it. I fell in love. Knoxville's a big city. It's like, I mean, not a big city, but it's like close to 200,000 people in the city. But then like there's a lot of rural
suburb
areas out there, and a lot of hiking, a lot of lakes, a lot of trails, a lot of outdoorsy stuff, like anything you can think of. My uncle, he was a pro BMXer back in the 80s.
Oh, that's sick.
Like race pedal bikes, and he's real into mountain bikes now. He's like 53. And there's just an insane amount of like mountain bike trails out there. And like you're just out in the woods, and like he loves it. So when I went out there, he took me. It was on a Friday. He took me. It was just me and him. And I used to race too back when I was
back in
younger.
the day.
Yeah. So like we got on, we were going, and it was humid as fuck. I don't know if you've been out that way. It's super humid.
I went to Missouri for my friend's wedding a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, listen, I think I'm okay with the taxes, you guys. I don't think I need this fucking...
Dude.
I shower and I come out and I'm still wet. Like, what is this nonsense?
Sticky for no reason. Yeah. It's humid in the summers. And then I don't know if you know what like the bugs, cicada. Have you ever heard of
cicada? Yeah.
So like they're out there, but every 17 years they come out like in a mass. Like they come out the ground. Like it's like an apocalypse. And they make this jet sound because they're everywhere. And it's like this... like it's so loud, and like I got there, I told because I was staying with my grandma, and I was like, what the fuck is that noise, dude?
Grandma?
Yeah, like, Grandma, where the hell do you live? And she's like, those are cicadas, and she's like, actually, like every 17 years they come out like this, and it's insane. So I was like, okay. So we're mountain biking, me and my uncle, and dude, it's fucking hot. I'm drenched, and like I'm dying, and like I'm like. I have my camelback's already almost empty. Yeah. And then I hear this damn noise. I'm trying to like catch my breath, and I almost like lose it because it's just like overwhelming. I was like, man, but I had so much fun just being out there and just getting away from like everything. It was a lot of fun.
Dude, it's cool when you throw yourself into like a new environment. Like it just kind of almost like makes you feel like revived.
Yeah. And then the coolest part was we're out in the middle of freaking nowhere, and then that night I'm at like a rooftop bar in the middle of a city, like overlooking the city, and I was like, this is awesome. Like there's like the best of both worlds, where you don't have to live in a freaking city to get that. Like my grandparents live like right on the outskirts of Knoxville in like Knox County, and it's like 10 minutes from like the big city, but then like it's also like 10, 20 minutes from like lakes and rivers and all this stuff, dude. And it's like, whatever you want to do today, that's what we can do, Or we could do both. Like you get the best of both worlds. So, and it's close to the Smoky Mountains, like an hour away, which is like a national forest.
Smoky Mountains are sick.
You should definitely go check out Gatlinburg. It's a big tourist site there. And like, like Blake Shelton has like his famous restaurant up there and stuff like that.
That's
and
sick.
it's beautiful, man. Like black bears everywhere.
Fell in love with it?
Yeah, man, I did. Cause like I love both.
And when did you go out there last year?
This past June, actually.
Okay, so a little over a year ago.
And they're already established, so it was like an easy move. It was like I had money saved up. I don't have any student debt. I don't have any debt. I just paid my car off. Like I'm, 26 years old. Let's go do it. Like, let's go. I want to like make a change. I just want to go do something different for a little while, Go out there and try to figure it out,
That's cool. That's cool.
But, because I know you talked about, because I feel the same as like this place, this community, this is our home, this is like where we're from. And I want to try to go out. I want to try to just go experience something
branch
new.
out. Yeah, exactly. And the cool thing that I never thought that would happen from my podcast is I'll have people who are thinking born and raised in Merced, and they'll reach out to me like, "Hey man, I like watching your podcast, or like listening to your podcast, catching up with what's going on in the Valley." And it's like for some reason I never thought about that as being an outlet for that. But it's like a lot of people who move away miss home, and then this is a way for them just to kind of see what's going on in the community, see the local people going or whatever is happening. And I never thought that would be like, I don't know, like sometimes when people move away, you just think they're moving away. They don't care about it.
Right.
And that's like, I'm saying like, even for you, like you're moving away, but like, even like through my podcast, you can just still like be like, okay, well, let's see what's been happening in Merced.
Right. And then
in the Central Valley.
Yeah. And then on the other end, I'll still be doing mine and staying connected with everyone here because this is where my audience is.
Yeah.
And I want to grow an audience out there as well. But, that's the cool thing about the internet these days. That you can leave, but you're still you still communicate with the majority of people the same exact way, no matter where you're at, just via social media or through text. There's only like maybe a handful of people that, you see weekly, if I'm being honest. I have a lot of friends, but I only see a few of them like consistently.
Yeah.
So that's what I would miss the most when I leave is like my friends who I hang out with all the time.
Yeah.
But I'm excited about it. We're going to make the drive out again. I'm going to take my girlfriend's car out there this time, probably first week of November or so.
Okay,
And
gotcha.
just do that fucking drive again.
Damn, you guys make a road trip out of it at all, or no?
Not this time because I had the U-Haul.
Yeah, so you're like, no,
and
screw that.
I got to watch where I stop and all that because my uncle actually got his broken into.
Oh, damn.
But he did it like 5 or 6 times.
I mean, so your odds are going up,
Yeah, man, you're out in the Wild West. Like, how many times you want to keep playing with fire, man? Like, figure it out. So this time we just have the car and the dogs. And
Okay, what type of dogs you got?
I got a Yorkie.
Yorkie?
I don't know what she has. It's like a little it's a little dog, a little mutt.
Little mutt dog?
Yeah. But I have a Yorkie. He's bougie, like when her dog comes and sniffs, he's like, what? Like,
Yeah, no,
no,
thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, I always imagine him with a British accent because they're like a British dog.
That's
and he's
good
probably
because
just some stuck-up asshole.
I imagine my dog with a retarded accent. Like straight up.
What kind of dog you have?
So it's a pit bull Shar-Pei. So Shar-Peis are the dogs with all the rolls on them, like hella
Okay, yeah,
rolly.
yeah.
So like me and my fiance, we always like, when we have 2 of them, 2 of the same type of dog, which is like, that dog's not popular. I told her the only way we're going to get another dog is if she finds another one, a moose, because that's our dog's name. And like, our friend ended up being out in like New Mexico, and she went to a shelter randomly, and they had Shar-Pei pit bull puppies for adoption. We got it for $5.
It's a $5
It's like,
dog.
yeah, but it's like a shelter dog. Like it's freaking like crying and whining all the time.
Right.
But we imagine like we're like, hey, how's it going? Like that's how our voice for them is. It's like stupid. We're making our dogs dumber than they are.
Probably. Yeah, my dog was $700. So I'm walking around like, don't die.
Yeah.
Like I'm not about to lose out on this investment.
Our dogs in total for both of them is $45, man.
Nice. Yeah, I just spent $114 today on these booster shots.
Okay, when you said that to me, are you talking about like a COVID shot?
No.
Okay. I was like, this guy's gotta go get his fucking dog vaccinated real quick.
Yeah.
My dog needs his booster.
Hella judging me.
No, but I was like, I'm not gonna question this right now, but
No, like what is it? Like for parvo and shit
Oh,
like that.
okay,
Like they
yeah,
have to
yeah.
get like an annual
Yeah,
or however
every-
long
yeah,
checkup. And he's
gotcha.
only a year old, so this was like his
just his shots, in
yeah.
general.
Try not
Gotcha.
to make my dog die, man.
A loser.
But dude, you go in there, and it's like 3 shots he needs, and then
Yeah.
they're like, oh, do you want to get this one? No. What about this one? It's also optional. No. And it's like 5 other ones. Like, dude, I don't want to pump my dog full
Yeah.
of shit, man. You know?
Yeah, I don't get that. Like, I don't know. I always laugh though, because some people I feel like take better care of like their dogs than. I mean, a lot of people take care of themselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I don't know. I feel like I probably feel really like I've said this before on my podcast, so I'll say it again. I don't know, because dogs need to be taken care of.
Yeah.
Like, I almost feel more bad for a dog getting hit by a car than like a human. Because like you have an idea of like what a car is.
Yeah,
what
like
are
you
doing?
shouldn't have been in the road.
Yeah, like a dog, like they don't know, dude. So I almost feel bad. If I see someone get hit by a car, I'm like, dude, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? You're probably on
That
drugs.
dog was scared. It didn't know to look both ways, okay?
No,
It looked
yeah.
one way. It forgot about the other way.
That's like one of the main things we got taught in elementary school was to look both ways before you cross the street. I mean, you know.
Yeah,
So-
we need to start teaching that doggy training, man.
Yeah, I don't know, but
Yeah, but you would
I love
also
my dog.
think that like dogs would kind of get like the sense of like, oh, this is a freaking car. Like, I mean, like I just think that dogs, they're freaking smart animals, but like as soon as they get like out of their zone of like what their normal stuff is, they like don't know how
they
to
don't
act.
know how to act.
They
don't
just like
listen.
they just like are like freaking out. They don't know what to do. But like in your house, they can just sit and do everything that you ask them to. Second they go out the front door, they're like,
They just
let me
lost
just
it.
go. Let me just run. Like our dog or our dog.
Is he a runner?
No, but the new one is because she hasn't got fixed yet. Her name is Beans. Moose and Beans is my freaking dog's names. But Beans is like, we're like, oh, come on, Beans. Like, and we'll take her out like the front yard, and she'll just like look at us and then just run. And then like I'll like be running after her, and then she'll like act like as if like I beat her, like go down on the ground, and then like I'll be about to pick her up, and she'll just run off again. And I'm
Oh
like,
my-
you. But I think she's in heat, so she's just
She's out there trying to get it.
trying to get it. Yeah, she's just trying to get it. And
Yeah.
dude, it's hella funny. My fiance woke up the other day, and she just texted me, and she's like, when she was gonna go like let them in, and like because we have like a sliding glass door outside, and she was like gonna go let them in. As she went over there, Moose is just like humping Beans, but like Moose doesn't know how to like hump things. Like he like is not actually humping her. He's just like mounting her and then humping like the air pretty much. And like we found this other dog one time and we brought her in and she was in heat and he just started like humping her face, like literally
nice.
just her face. And then the owners like ended up like coming like literally not even 5 minutes later. And then we're like, oh my God, thank you so much, blah, blah, blah. I was like, yeah. We shut the door. I was like, I don't want to kiss your dog because my dog's dick's been in your dog's face.
Oh my God, dude. Dogs are weird.
Yeah, dogs are weird and they're so awesome too.
My dog's name's Gunther.
Gunther?
Yeah.
My fiance had a cat named Gunther.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it passed away a little recently, but Gunther's a good name.
Dude, I got it from Adventure Time. You know the cartoon? Mm-hmm. The penguin, one of the Ice King's penguins.
Okay.
Gunther.
Really?
Or it might be Gunter, but I just named it Gunther, but it was cool. That's what I got
Gunther.
it from.
Have you ever heard of, there's like this, it's like disco music and the guy's name's Gunther.
Nah.
Oh, I'll send it to you
Alright.
afterwards. It's ridiculous. But his name, like they always say Gunther in it and it just sounds ridiculous.
Yeah. Dude, you gotta check out Nashville, Tennessee as well. I was there on Monday. It's insane, dude. It's like Vegas, but like just live bands.
A little
and-
more country or
Yeah, a little
what?
more country, yeah.
Is that
But
the difference?
this homeless dude, he had a cat. He had a sign that said "Cat Lives Matter." I posted it on my Instagram.
Oh, okay.
so-
I did see that. Yeah.
Yeah, I just like, I don't know. I feel like the homeless there, they give the city like character.
Yeah,
you know, they don't just have tents in the street.
Come on, Merced. We
I know,
need
man.
some
Step
funny
your game
homeless
up.
people.
Yeah, we need some like character going on around
Yeah,
here.
okay, but you were born and raised in Merced, right?
Atwater.
Atwater, but I mean, like,
Yeah,
naturally come
yeah,
to Merced, I
yeah.
guess.
For
'Cause,
pretty much
You remember
everything.
like all the classic homeless people? I mean, like, do you remember Bagman?
No, I do. I do see the only one I do remember is like the black dude and his wife. They're
Yeah,
always
yeah.
around. I still see them around, but I don't
Yeah.
remember like
Oh, there's this guy named Bagman. Oh, okay, that's not his name, but
back man.
he would just have plastic bags tied all over him and like
walk around?
Yeah, walk around. His Bagman, we had Wolfman, and Wolfman was just a dude who had a shirt off,
Nice.
and he would just had like hella hair everywhere. There's Backwards Man, and Backwards Man would just walk backwards all the time.
See, that gives the city character.
Yeah,
I like homeless people.
But
like
then we
that.
got a whole new wave of them moving in, and
They got
where's
no-
the character?
There's no talent. They get some talent in this city, man. Because homelessness is like pretty much inevitable, right?
Yeah.
So like let's get something going.
Let's
dude.
encourage them to, embrace themselves on
Yeah.
who they are.
Yeah.
Because I think for far too long, homeless people have not been getting the credit they
No,
deserve.
They haven't.
They are
I'd
the
give-
culture of the city.
I'd give Bagman $1. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. If you're like, what a bag man, here you go.
What's up, Bagman? That's funny, dude. I wonder.
Like, you see Wolfman, give him this.
Yeah. No. Man, I wonder how they're doing,
Yeah, I know.
dude. Do you Fuck, I forgot what I was gonna say.
I was like, man,
That happens a lot.
I'm glad you're driving this conversation.
Hey, I feel like we're doing pretty good.
No,
This is
we
the first
are.
time we met each other.
This
so-
is, yeah. Look, literally, we met each other 5 minutes before this podcast started.
Well, I guess you figure I'm like, okay, he does a podcast, so at least he knows how to talk.
Yeah, and that's I was like, okay, at least this guy does a podcast, so he should be going back and forth.
Dude,
with me.
there's hard. It's hard. I've realized very quickly that some people don't know how to like.
Dude, they do not help you, huh?
Or,
like
no,
when you're the
like
host,
you
you're
ask
like,
them a question and it's like a 5-second answer, and it's like,
Or they'll tell you what they think about something, and then they don't follow up with like, "What do you think?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "This is what I think." You know what I mean? I'll just tell them sometimes. I'm like, "Well, I guess I'm just gonna
whether
keep it
you
going."
care or not, I'm just gonna go for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you ever
Yeah.
had like any weird podcast experiences? Like when where you're like, "Oh, that didn't go as well as I thought."
There's one. Well, he came on the second time. It was a lot better, but the first time it was like 36-minute podcast, and I just like
You should-
genuinely ran out of things.
I
to
gotta
say.
get out of here.
And I was like, all right, man. Well, this, you know, but it's all good. He's a homie. It just, I think, you know, we had met each other via, you know, social media. So that was actually one of the first times we've met. So yeah, it was a little awkward, but I'm glad I had to experience that because it helped me like with strangers. Like,
Yeah. That's why I had one podcast guest that was like threw me off a little bit.
Yeah.
Just threw me in for a spin, and I was kind of waiting for that because obviously it's gonna happen. Like
Yeah.
eventually you're gonna get somebody who maybe you don't click with, or who maybe like
I mean, you can only talk to your dumbass friends for so long. It's like, bro. You know?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I need to get something else on to go in here.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, okay, like what is my podcast about? I got to get like community. And
Yeah.
I've had so many rappers on, and I love having rappers on. I love it. It's just like it turns the podcast and the post-production, it turns the podcast into at least like a 3-hour thing because we got to record them performing a song and we got to like set up their
nice.
stuff. So yeah, so I have like a lot of performances and stuff. But my new way of doing performances, it's like pretty cool. It's like in this corner right here, and I have a gimbal and I'm just like kind of walking around like filming them as they're doing a live performance.
Okay.
So it's a little more like a freestyle type vibe.
That's dope.
This is sway in the
yeah.
morning.
Yeah. I feel like I get rappers on. I'm like, what's up? Spit a freestyle then.
They're like,
on the
oh,
spot.
bro, what are you talking about?
Yeah. I want to see your talent right now. Yeah. Man, this is different for me, man, because I grew up just doing sports. I was like an athlete my whole life. Like
What'd you play growing up?
everything. You know, baseball, basketball, football, track, and then BMX from like, you know, doing that as well. And then getting into high school, I focused just on football and track. And that was like my
Life at the
that was
time,
my
right?
life,
Yeah.
dude. And I realized very quickly, and I wanna say this to like, you know, young athletes or even collegiate athletes, you can't be an athlete forever. Like
Yeah.
you just, and if you focus on just that, that's what you should do. Like, you know, if you grind every day, you put in the work every day, and you believe in yourself, it's like, it shows like your love for what you're doing. Like you love what you're doing, right? But unfortunately that comes to an end, and it's like,
Yeah.
what are you going to do after? You know? And for me, I was 19 because I went to college for track. I got a scholarship to Utah State University.
Oh, okay.
So I did that for a couple years. But after, you know, I was done, dude, it's like, okay, now what? I just focused from 3 years old, I started T-ball and BMX at 3. Like my dad was up on the gate holding my back tire, you know, like all the little kids. Like that's all I did. And I'm still a teenager technically. I'm 19. So it's like, what does the rest of my life have in store for me? I had no idea because I never thought about it.
Yeah, because you're just thinking about whatever's next in front of you.
You know? So just my advice is to be aware of that, because I don't want it to be like a train wreck or just right when it happens, because it's gonna hit you and you're gonna be like, what the hell am I gonna do? You know? And
I think that's even like you're saying, it could be sports, it could be somebody going to college, it could be whatever it may be. There comes to a point when a lot of people's lives where you kind of like
comes
hit
to
a
a halt.
and you're like, wait, what do I want in my life? And I think that a lot of people, when you get to that point, it's scary, obviously, because you think you've been working your whole life, like let's say to be a track superstar, to be in football or sport or musician, band, whatever it may be, but like reality hits you pretty hard when you kind of realize like, oh, I have to like make a living out of something. And if I can't make a living from this track or from whatever you are very passionate about, like what can I make a living from? And it's the question, I think, that what it comes down to is like, what do you want? You know what I mean?
I mean, even if you were to go to the NFL, that's still a short career. You're in your 30s and you
maybe
retire.
maybe a short life too, but
Yeah, but
kidding.
you know,
I mean, I'm not kidding.
that
but-
CTE is
yeah,
real.
Yeah,
boy.
CTE though.
Yeah. So I don't like to self-diagnose, but I might be a little psycho myself. No, but dude, you're in your 30s, man. Like your mid 30s.
Yeah,
like at the latest.
when you come
unless
out
you're
of
like
it.
Tom Brady, you're like 41. But still,
Yeah.
you're like, dude, you still have like what, another
At least
45,
40,
50
yeah,
years in you. I mean, they obviously have the money and the connections where they could just become sports analysis because, I mean, they did it their whole life. But my point is, it's not an athlete anymore. It's different. And I use athlete because that's what I was.
Yeah.
And that's what I experienced in doing this podcast and finding this brand, like coming up with this. And it gives me a purpose to wake up every day. Just like gave me a purpose when I was an athlete, going to practice and putting in the work and doing all that. It gives me a purpose to be successful. Same with this. I finally found a purpose to where, and this, there's no ceiling to it. There's no end to it. I can do this as long as I want to do it. And it's exciting. And it brings a lot of excitement in my life. And no matter what else I do, this brings excitement in my life.
And I think,
and that's what's most important to me is like, it's not the money. It's being a happy human being.
and each time you get like a guest on, it kind of like I always say this, but it kind of rejuvenates you, kind of revives you. You got to hear that person's stories, their trials, tribulations, whatever it may be. Maybe it's a friend that you're going to catch up with. Regardless what it is, it kind of just makes it feel like oh, I had a great time. I had a great conversation with them, and it's kind of weird because. Now, like the more and more I record, the more I like. I mean, I think like the older I get, the more I think about my mortality. Don't mean to get so cynical here, but
no, it's
like,
true.
No,
dude.
it's true. You think about your mortality. You think about like what you have of this life, and like even if let's say I die tomorrow or something like that, I'm happy that I have like all these hours of things that people can listen to because I've had a great time doing these things, and I don't know what my point of talking about mortality was exactly at this point, but
no, because dude, like we're all here for a finite amount of time, and that's also kind of the reason why I wanted to get out because there's so much in the world, dude.
Yeah,
that people don't get the luxury or the option to see and experience. And experience is the most knowledgeable thing to me. Like that's real history is experience. Like, dude, sitting down listening to an old man talk, just listen to his stories. That's real history. That's real experience. And that's like what I like love the most. And it's like, man, and then you just wonder like, I don't want to just be stuck in a spot forever. I want to like go and do as much as I can. And
no,
see as much as I
exactly.
can.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, because like you're like we've been saying, like you're here for a finite amount of time, so you want to live it up. And that's what I think. Like for a long, I mean, I think, and for myself, it's like I needed to do that and go out and like I've traveled to plenty of places and everything like that. I still want to go out and obviously explore more and do everything like that. But I mean, like for me, like what the thing that I've realized through traveling multiple places and like visiting my cousin in Portugal and wherever else, you know what I mean? Like the thing that I've always come to, it's kind of cool because I always turn back to Merced or to the Central Valley in general. And if other people, maybe like they see something, they want to go out, they want to go experience that, and they move somewhere else, and that's great for them. But for me, it's like one thing that's stayed consistent or stayed like true or helps me ground myself is just like the Central Valley in general. And that's the reason that this podcast exists. And it's kind of cool because it's like, do you feel like with your podcast that you're kind of just like you're doing whatever you're doing, and maybe like I don't know exactly what I'm doing, but I just keep doing it because I'm happy that I'm doing it. I feel like I'm gaining something from it. I think I'm putting something out in the community that people can relate to. But at the same time, I feel like I'm also not in control of this thing. I feel like it just keeps on growing and doing its own thing, and I reach out to people. If they say yes, that's great. If they say no, it's whatever. Yeah. But one way or another, it leads me to all these other opportunities. And I never thought it'd be a place where I can market myself.
It's definitely
a place where you can market yourself. And like through this podcast, I've just met people, whether it's real estate or photography, videography. It's like at the end of it, I'm always like, oh yeah, if you ever need any like help doing this or that, then they're always like, after you sit down with somebody, you have an hour-long conversation with them, they're more likely going to choose you than someone random if they want help with it. And so it just opened more doors than I had ever thought would be possible, honestly. Yeah.
And same with me, just being able to meet a lot of different people and have those outlets that are available just to like bigger people. But I just want to make sure I'm ready for that.
Yeah.
Play your cards when the time's right.
Yeah, I want to get the mayor of Merced on the podcast, which I already think I can, but it's just like, I want to be ready for it. You know what I mean? Like I want to have
definitely one you should like
Oh, yeah, no, yeah, no, yeah.
Hey, you want a beer? Let's have a talk.
No, dude, are you kidding me? Arm said freaking, he parties, bro. I freaking, we were at Blaker one time, and I had like 2 beers in my hand, and because we were just like, I forget what it was for, but we are just like hanging out, and then like all of a sudden, like the mayor walks past us, but he had like 2 beers in his hand too, and my fiance walked up to me, and he was like, you should go up to the mayor and be like, what's up? I see that we both like to party, man. Why don't you come on my podcast?
That might work.
Yeah, that might have. Yeah. But I'm gonna reach out. But it's kind of like I want to get some other people on, and then it's funny because like when I reached out to people about coming on my podcast, obviously there's certain podcasts that I send their way. You know what I mean? Other podcasts, I'm like, unless you're gonna watch 30 hours of stuff, like you're not gonna watch this podcast.
Yeah. Like, well, when you said, "Oh yeah, I watched your first one," I'm like, "Oh, that's not good." That's it's so drastically changed from that point, you know.
No, but I mean, I give it to you for sitting down for 45 minutes by yourself talking.
I've done it like 3 times.
It's hard, huh?
Yeah. I had to prepare myself for that. I give myself notes and I give because like conversation for the most part is easier because I can ask a question and if I could sit there and just be quiet for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Versus I can't, I got to keep rolling, keep it going. Those are fun though. Those are more rewarding. Because like, man, I did that. Because like Theo Vaughn, like those guys do it. I tried it and it's hard.
Dude, it is very hard. I've only done one so far and it was just my podcast update on where I think the show's going. It was only 15 minutes.
Right.
But still,
I think I watched that one.
Yeah, and I was going all over the place. Like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to start doing ones where like I kind of do a lot of research, and so like I just do it about like maybe like, well, I'm gonna have a different podcast or a podcast tomorrow with somebody who like she's a photographer and she's been a photographer since like the film era, and so we're gonna talk about like from film to the digital and like how that transition was. But before that podcast starts, I want to do like a 5 to 10 minute podcast about like the history of cameras or the history of whatever, and kind of just like a little more interactive thing where it's just like
that prepares the audience.
Yeah, exactly. Prepares the audience, and I always look at my podcast. It started me to like make content for things that like I'll use it for content for my podcast, but it's also content for my Instagram, content for just my YouTube channel or whatever it may be. And so with that, it's like I'm passionate about film and photography, and so it's something that I'll actually like research and do.
Right.
And so I'm looking forward to doing that and making like a whole little, basically a video version of like from film to digital and the years of 1800 to 2021 or whatever it is. But like those are the things I'm looking more forward to doing. We're talking about Ansel Adams and why Ansel Adams, you know who Ansel Adams is? He's the photographer in Yosemite who got real big.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, just basically any picture of Yosemite that's black and white, he did.
Who's the dude who went and like cured his blindness? Like John Muir?
I mean, it could be. I don't know. John Muir is the guy who's like he was the Yosemite guy.
Yeah, I don't know. Like he was supposedly blind, and then he saw like
the beautiful landscape,
and then it like cured his blindness.
You heard it here, you guys, from Dallas Hoofard.
No, that's fake news, dude. No, man, I got the luxury to hike Half Dome when I was in elementary school.
All the way to the top?
All the way to the top.
Yeah, I did. I've done it twice so far, but
before they gave a shit.
Yeah. Back when like there's permits and stuff.
There's a box of gloves.
Yeah.
Take the gloves and all right, go.
Dude, it's pretty sketchy. Like, so I did it. I've done it twice, and I did it like one time with my friends, and it was like we got to the top when it was like hella people up there, and when you're climbing it with that many people, you kind of don't realize like how dangerous it is. And then I did it a couple months ago with my fiance, and we backpacked, and I took it upon myself to film the whole entire thing. So I'd set up my camera, I'd walk like 30 yards, and then come back, grab my camera, set it up again, walk 30 yards, come back. Dude. So I did that the whole entire trail. And so I did that to the very top of it, which is like, it's because I had never seen a video of like, if you've never hiked Half Dome and you want to see what it's like, here it is. And that's what I made.
That's pretty badass.
Yeah, so I made that video, which is great. A lot of work, you know what I mean?
Stressful though.
Yeah. It's just stressful. Oh, dude, we got to the backpackers camp because we did it in 2 days, and like my legs were just cramping. I was just like, because I had done like 20 miles the first day just from going back and forth. And then the worst part was switchbacks. So I'd set it up. I'd walk up like 10 switchbacks, and then I'd walk back down, grab my camera. But we got to the top of, we got to the dome of Half Dome at like 6 a.m. because we were camping. And it was like nobody was on it, and we were going up, and it was just me and her. And I'm like, okay, this is pretty scary.
Yeah.
Comparatively, like when it's crowded with people, you don't really realize how.
No, because there's just kind of keep your head down.
Yeah.
When the person in front of you goes, you
You
kind of
got-
just follow.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I was scared. I mean, I was little, and I honestly didn't really appreciate where the hell I was at the time. I'm maybe like 3rd grade.
real young then.
I was young. And I didn't appreciate where I was at, but could say I did do it. But there was a lot of people. I don't know if I could have done it without the line of people.
Yeah.
Because I was little and I
Well,
was
yeah, because
pretty
this last time we
freaking
were on it, and it was just like me and my fiance, and all I could hear is like us breathing. Like, you know what I mean? And then kind of just like looking around, and I was like, man, this is pretty wild. Like, and like my hiking boots are like hella slipping on it. It's just like slick granite. And I'm just like,
Well, I feel like it gives you more of the experience though, man, of
No,
where
yeah.
you're at.
no, yeah, it does. And that's what kind of what it put in perspective to me was like, oh, like this is how it should be. This is probably how like when people climb mountains, or like rock climbing.
Yeah.
I don't get how people do that, dude.
Are you into that?
No.
No? Well, I was wondering, you
No,
hike a lot.
I like hike a lot and stuff like that, but like I'm not at all for
About like the free
possibly
solo.
dying. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Alex Honnold and everything. Like, that's crazy. That I like watching it. I will never do
Never
that.
in my
Like,
life. I wouldn't do that with equipment.
yeah,
if I
yeah.
was
That's what I'm
skilled.
saying. I don't even want to do that. I like the maybe rock climbing gym because I feel like I'm safe there.
Still scrape my knee.
yeah. But like, I don't want to go climb a real mountain. Like,
Right.
or at least not the face of a mountain
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Screw that.
Yeah, dude. That's like even the guys who like they have their tents hanging
Mhm.
they're sleeping
They're
on the
sleeping
side
on
of
a
a
little
cliff.
pad.
That's insane, man. I mean, I'm afraid of heights. So
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, I'm not afraid of heights, but the older I get, like I was saying, like the more that you realize like your mortality and like things, and like,
Like
it's
that
just,
can literally kill me.
yeah, exactly. And like when I was younger, like I used to always go to like all the swimming holes in different areas, and I would just freaking jump off like cliffs into the freaking river and stuff, like all the time, like without even questioning anything. And then I was at this one place called God's Bath, and
I've heard of that.
Yeah, and so I was like, it was like a 70-foot jump, and like I jumped off of it, and like when I hit the water, like it hurt hella bad, and I just kind of realized at that point, like, oh, I could die. Like,
Because I think 100 feet's like
yeah, it's like says like concrete or something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, exactly. And granted, like that's if it's like flat, so like it's like a running river, so at least there's some tension being broken, but still, I just
Yeah.
look back a lot of
70
things.
feet. That's kind of a little close. I'm not good with feet, but 30.
Yeah. The 30 more feet. It seems like it's pretty close right there. F that though.
Yeah. That's cool, man. I'm really inspired just looking at your stuff and all your cool pictures, man. I've always like loved
Thanks, man. I
photography
appreciate
and stuff
that.
like
Hey, if you ever want some Merced photos or something like that, I always try to go to Atwater to take some photos, but
I mean, what are you gonna take?
yeah, like Bloss House, the freaking what's up going on with the water tower? As you see that, it's like wrapped up.
I don't know. Is it the one in Merced?
No,
too?
no, I don't know, maybe, but there's one in Atwater, the
Yeah.
main one in Atwater. It's like wrapped up with stuff. I'm
know.
like, who saran wrapped this thing?
I don't even know if there's actually water in there.
Yeah, okay, are water towers still a thing? Like, do they keep water them? You're telling me the whole town's gonna survive off the water in here? I
Well,
bet
to
you
be
that water.
honest, I think the water in Atwater was bad for the past couple years, and they sued the fuck out of some company because they got some shit in the water.
Mm.
That's so they're building.
That's why Atwater never closed for the pandemic.
They're building. No shit. Yeah, they're over here worried about a vaccine. Our water's bad. How about let's work on that?
Yeah.
You know, they built like they're building this water treatment plant like right by my house.
Oh, okay.
They've been working on that, so there's been a lot of construction. I didn't even know about that. I asked my mom once. I'm like, "What are they doing over by your house?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh yeah, because the water is supposedly." I'm like, "Oh, that's nice." I've
Yeah,
just been
been
drinking
drinking
that,
it,
you
yeah.
know, it's cool. I also heard Lucky Charms had poisonous shit in it too. So, I mean, whatever, dude.
And like everything we get, dude. Anything fast food, anything
I know.
factory farming, whatever we get, like, we're all gonna die.
Yeah, I know. It's like, oh, the vaccine's gonna kill you. Yeah, well, so is that Carl's Jr. Double Western.
Yeah, exactly.
But
exactly.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
don't
people
care.
are always, we don't need to talk about vaccines.
I'm on. No, I'm not getting into no political bullshit
So
today.
what do you believe? I'm just kidding.
For me, whatever you want to do, man.
Dude.
I am not pro or anti.
Dude, that's not.
I'm
the-
pro, or no, whatever you want.
Yeah.
Pro-choice. Whatever.
Yeah. Because
Get it. Don't.
Yeah, exactly. That's my thing. I don't care. Like we're like I talked about it with my buddy Matt on the podcast a couple episodes ago. It's like we're in like such a polarizing society where it's like either this way or that
This
way.
way or that way.
No in between.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, there's always an in between, and most people are in the in between. So why don't we just
most people are in the between, and you guys are pissing us all off.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like,
and then but then they'll be like, it's like Republicans and Democrats. It's like
everything's gone political.
yeah, it's like Democrats environment, Republicans are like I don't know what the fuck. What do they represent? Guns. You know what I mean? Like, but it's like they both are saying those things, and yet like people in both parties are like getting financed by like they're getting Democrats are getting financed by big oil companies and all this other shit. And I'm like, it don't make no sense.
No, and it's one of those things where a lot of people don't look beyond what they just see on CNN.
Yeah, or Fox.
Yeah, Fox is just nuts, man. I don't even know why you watch Fox News. I don't even watch. Who watches the news anyway, dude?
It's just the older generation who watch the news. It's like, hey, can we not watch TV? You guys need to stop having TV and cable networks. Like, there's no reason for us to have
it's like,
that.
I want to tell my grandparents, you guys are like old. Like, let's like go experience the rest of your life and not sit there and be mad at Fox News and blame everything on Joe Biden.
What would they do all day, man? What would they do all day?
Or Donald Trump or whoever, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's just a pity party, honestly.
It's all good. I'm just trying to, my main goal in life is to just be a creator, man, at this point. You know, I did my athletic career. I put in my time. So, I was successful at that. And now I'm just working on just trying to find ways to just keep being motivated every day.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure you're gonna run into some great opportunities out there too. Just being in a bigger city, and like, I mean, there's just gonna be more opportunity in general for things growing. Even like, I mean, there's gonna be a crap ton of like, there's like of course like a couple of clothing stores here. Like, I mean, there's like California and Strangers and Merced too, and they're both really cool places. But like, it'd be cool to even like get like your stuff and like into like a local place over there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like limited edition run or whatever. You know what I mean?
And it's a growing city. That area is growing. I would say it's like 20 years. Some aspects of it is like 20 years behind.
Really?
Yeah, just like just the lifestyle, man. To be honest with you, it's a slower lifestyle. But I actually like it. Like, it helps with my anxiety, honestly. Like, you go out there and it's just more relaxing. It's not like everything's just like, like how we talked about, man, it doesn't seem like there's enough time in the day.
Yeah.
Just because of the things we do and like the way like the California life is.
Yeah, and I think it could be California. I don't know what it is, but I feel like, this state in general is just so high speed, go.
Yeah.
And it's like the classic grind attitude, like hustle.
Yeah.
And like that's good to a certain extent, but at some point you just need some time to kind of reflect, honestly. And even if it's just if this is an outlet for you to reflect, you know what I mean? Because it kind of is, like, in the sense of you're going to get there and be like, now what? You know what I mean? It's kind of becoming like what's the first move or whatever.
Yeah. Well, people get stuck so much in their own life. You don't even really look up and see what everyone else is doing. The podcast helps me, like, what have you been up to, man? Like, what have you been doing? And then it opens your eyes, like, oh,
Have you ever like gone back and listened to? I've like listened to like a random episode, and I'm like, oh man, like just like you got to see where you've grown.
Yeah,
from, too.
most definitely. Yeah, I've done it a couple of times. It's a little hard to listen to myself talk.
Yeah. Oh, I feel that.
More
way.
so like the editing. I guess it's like when you go over it. It's
you're
like
you're over it at that point.
Once I put it out on YouTube, I usually don't even go back and listen to it.
Yeah, generally I like listen to it. I used to try to listen to it before it came out. No, I don't. Now I listen to it on like Fridays when I release it. I'll listen to it.
Me too. Or
I'll see like what do I regret saying.
I'll listen to halfway, so I'll be halfway ahead of everyone else.
Yeah,
and I drop it, and then I'll finish it out. It's like, okay, everything's good. I don't have to just abruptly just delete it.
Yeah,
for some
exactly.
reason,
Exactly.
so.
No, I feel it. Hey, man, I appreciate you being here. I had a
Dude.
great conversation. I'm looking forward to going on your podcast
Yeah,
as well.
man, most definitely. We'll have to do that before I take off.
Yeah, I was
We
gonna
will,
say.
for sure.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's still like a week and a half away.
We can work something out. Next
some
week.
next
and
week.
stuff.
Yeah, and so you're moving podcasts and everything over there. I mean, obviously, but
Actually, I think I'm gonna start it. You know how like Theo Vaughn has his little his Asian co-host guy who like doesn't say hardly anything, but he's like funny.
yeah.
Like they have like their little side people.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know? Like even bad friends, they have
They have
like
that the one chick that's
Yeah,
like,
the chick. Yeah. Like, yeah.
She says, sounds so awkward and
Uh-huh.
weird.
I'm gonna try to incorporate my girlfriend into that.
Yeah, dude, that's
you know,
cool.
because I don't know if she wants to be on camera.
But it kind of helps you if you're doing something by yourself. And it's crazy you say that. I just called Duffy, my sound guy, and I called him today, and I was saying like I want to have him out there, and like so he'll have the computer out there that's recording everything, and then he'll also have like a microphone out there.
Yeah.
And so I'll be in here having a conversation with a guest, but he can always like butt in and say something.
Yeah.
And kind of just helps drive the conversation, or being like, I want to get a TV. I don't know where, well maybe over here. So that we could like pull. Hey, can you pull this up, Duffy? Basically, have my Jamie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, most
like,
definitely. Yeah,
like-
I mean, shit. Even like Conan had that. Like they had the little
the guy that just sits there.
He sits there
that
and
no
says-
one really even acknowledges the whole time.
Yeah, there's not like I like that. And I want to get her involved too because she's moving out there and essentially we're both leaving our families.
Yeah.
So I like to incorporate people around me into what I'm doing as well.
That's cool. Do you have any idea what you're gonna be doing out there?
Nah, man, I really don't.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
a lot of job opportunity out there. I'm shit you not. My girlfriend didn't even believe me until we went and visited. Everywhere says it's hiring. No one wants to go back to work.
Yeah.
Don't know why, but obviously I want to utilize my degree and get something better.
with that.
But like I said, if anything, if it comes down to it, I can get like a part-time job, or just a smaller fucking job, go work at fucking Lowe's. I don't know.
or a server job or whatever. No matter.
In the meantime.
Yeah.
But I'm really not worried, man. Like, a lot of people stress about, man, I need to get a job that's just out there because of the opportunity and like the dynamic of the city right now. I'm excited for it and just to see what I can get out there.
And are you moving in with your family out there?
Yeah, right now my grandparents, they have a 2-story house and they have like an entire downstairs like living room, bathroom that they don't use.
Oh, that's sick.
So
It's your almost little studio apartment. Pretty
yeah,
much.
we're just gonna stay down there, and work on getting a home of our own probably within the next year because housing is extremely cheap out there.
Yeah.
You get a lot more bang for your buck.
Oh yeah, I've
know
seen
what
like what $200,000 can get you in the Midwest. I'm like,
Yeah,
what?
versus like here, and you're like, dude, if I get a $200,000 house here, my next person is gonna be a gun.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just playing, but yeah, I'm excited for it.
No, that's awesome. It's cool that you're willing to take that jump because it's like, I mean, I've always thought about it, but now I'm at a point in my life where I'm like, I mean, I don't know. I'm cool with like where I'm at
Right.
and everything else. But I feel like if there was like, if maybe in the, earlier, whatever, but I just props to you for going out there, just taking a leap of faith, you know what I mean? Of like, hey, I like this area. I don't know what's going to come of it, but I'm more than down, willing to do it. So it's cool that when people are just so down like that.
Yeah, I mean, my family definitely helps that.
Yeah, the fact
And
that you're not alone over there.
and they're already established, and my cousins who I grew up with before I could
they're already
remember
over there too?
are there.
Oh, okay, that's cool. Yeah, so you already got some homies.
Yeah,
you know what I
I'll
mean?
be all right.
Yeah, that's cool.
We'll be all right. So
Cool.
we'll figure it out along the way.
Yeah, gotcha. All right, Dallas, I appreciate you being
Thank you.
here. I know, sorry.
it's all right.
Word. Yeah, hey, man, thank you for being here. Tell people where they can find you at on social media and stuff.
mulberrydreams.co on Instagram, Mulberry Dreams on Twitter, and mulberrydreams.com. That's where you can find it. My Instagram is what I mainly use, mulberrydreams.co. Honestly, my Twitter, I'm real personal on there. I'd be tweeting like about baseball, whatever. But I like that. I've kind of created like a more personal
Yeah, no, I feel
thing
that.
into that.
My Twitter is just random stuff.
Yeah.
I'll tweet once like every now and
Yeah.
then.
But mulberrydreams.com, Mulberry Dreams on YouTube. You just type Mulberry Dreams and it'll come up. So
There we go.
Sure.
All right, Dallas Hoofard, I appreciate
Thank
you
you.
being here, man. Alrighty, guys.
This is it. Real talk and whatnot.
Real talk. That's what it is.